Today we'll begin with the benign cervical polyp. We'll see the definition one by one. What is the benign cervical polyp? This is the benign tumors which are arising from the cervical surface. So these may be endocervical or ectocervical. So if they are arising from endocervical epithelium, and they may be seen as a smooth reddish protrusion of the cervix. Actually, cervical polyps are small, elongated, that grow in the cervix. And these polyps are fragile. They are the fragile structures that grow from stalks rooted on the surface of the cervix. It may come from inside the cervix. We can see these are coming from endocervical mucosa. So inside the cervix or inside the cervical canal. So ecto and endo. Now we will see types. It may be mucous cervix. It may be fibroadenomatous cervix. Mucous cervix. Before that, we should know first basically proper anatomy of the uterus and cervix. So this is the body of uterus, cavity of the body, muscular layers of the uterus. This is the cavity of the cervix. This is internal os. Above is the internal os and below is the external os. The area in between this is called as isthmus or histological os. And we can see a corneal end and all about fallopian tube, where fembrile end is resting on the ovary. So this is the normal anatomy, and this cervix is projecting into normal vagina. Now proper cervix. This is called as the endocervix, endocervical inner mucous membrane of the cervix, and outer layer is the ectocervix. So this innermost layer is endometrium and middle is myometrium, and this is a serosal, or we can say it's a peritoneal surface. So I think you understood the anatomical appearance of the cervix and appearance of the benign growth from that area. So these are all, we can see another benign lesions also. Actually, what are the benign lesions in the cervix? These are non-cancerous cervical tumors that don't metastasize or invade the surrounding tissue, and they are not life-threatening conditions. Most of the time, they are the benign one. In very rare cases, they may change into cancerous condition. So we will see the following are the examples of benign cervical lesions. They are the cervical polyps, ectropion, fibroids, and stenosis. All are occurring at the cervical area. Polyps we will be looking now. Ectropion, this is the E version of the cervical epithelium, which may be due to chronic cervicitis. And fibroids, these are the intermuscular as well as fibrous mixed tumors coming from the cervical fibroids. Stenosis, again, it may occur after any inflammation, any infection, any instrumentation or surgical procedures. And Nabatean follicles is one of the type of cervical erosion, which we'll be looking forward in our coming lectures. So coming to the cervical polyp, why polyps occurs? What is the etiology? Etiologies are considered as increased levels of estrogen. Hormone estrogen is excessively circulating in the blood. Then chronic inflammation of the cervix, vagina or uterus. This chronic inflammation may lead to development. This is during the childbearing period. Chronic inflammation may occur during childbearing period, even during premenopausal or young women also after marriage. Then clogged blood vessels. When blood vessels are clogged, they appear as a sessile polyps. Then inflammation may be of HPV, human papillomavirus infection, fungal infection in the form of yeast, or herpes viruses. So these were the considered phenomenon of etiopathogenesis of the polyposis. Now, high estrogen levels are common during pregnancy, childbearing age, and premenopausal levels. So this is the age. It is also disorders of 30s and 40s. That is the reason. This you can see the large cervical polyp is hanging from the cervix. It is coming outside into the vagina. So types endocervical, ectocervical, signs and symptoms. Before that we will see the mucus polyp and fibroadenomatous. Mucus polyp usually see this is arising from the innermost layer of the uterus, that is from mucous membrane of the cervical canal. They form a swelling about this size. This is a big size, but it may be of, as we have seen in our initial slides, small polyp may be of varying size between this pea-sized. Pea-sized till the diameter of 2 to 3 centimeter also. That is the diameter of the polyps. Now what is the naked eye? See, this is the red vascular swelling. These are the red vascular swellings which bleeds on touch, and they are covered by smooth glistening epithelium. See, this is a shiny and smooth glistening epithelium. They are pedunculated. They are hanging from the external os. Swelling is very much soft, slippery to touch. This may be single or it may be multiple. So this is all about the naked eye appearance of the polyps. We will see histology. But before that, symptoms and signs. If polyps are usually, cervical polyps are usually not noticeable, they are asymptomatic most of the time. But if symptom persist, it may persist in the age group of 30 to 40 years of women or rare after postmenopausal. So what are the symptoms? She may come with vaginal discharge, which may be of white, yellowish mucus, which may be occasionally, if superadded with infection, offensive. Then abnormal heavy bleeding or spotting. This is important. Women may narrate you the symptom of spotting or intermittent or any abnormal heavy bleeding. This may occur. Vaginal spotting or bleeding is to be understood precisely. This may occur after sexual intercourse, after douching. This heavy bleeding may occur during periods, intermittent between periods, and even after menopause. So in rare cases, we can see these are the symptoms mostly corresponding to malignancy also. We should always look for the proper examinations of the cervical mucosa. Then investigations. How will you diagnose? It's usually diagnosed when performing routine pelvic examination. First, we will ask the thorough history of the patient. We'll ask about all about the menstrual pattern and her obstetric history, menstrual related symptoms, then type of bleeding. Then we'll go for further proper pelvic examination. And proper pelvic examination you can directly see by the per speculum examination. This per speculum examination will allow you to visualize polyps which are hanging from the os. So most of the time they are diagnosed by visual inspection only, but these are further investigated to exclude other causes like cervical smear. We have to send to the laboratory for biopsy also to know the any malignant change, and colposcopic examination is also becomes important in diagnosis. So what is important again? What about diagnosis? Routine pelvic examination which detects either the polyp is ecto or endocervical. This ectocervical polyps should be looked with much care in the postmenopausal woman, whereas endocervical, we should keep in mind this occurs mostly in the reproductive age group. So, how will you treat the polyps? Polyps are easily removed in the doctor's OPD without anesthesia. In cases of uterine polyps, we have seen anesthesia is required because we have to explore the uterus. But here, in the absence of anesthesia, in the OPDs only these procedures can be done. Actually, what is done? The avulsion or torsion without anesthesia of the pedicle of the cervix. See, this is the cervix, pedicle, this is pedicle hangings, polyps. So here the treatment is removal of polyp. Removal of, after the removal, the polyp are removed by the ring forceps also, and these polyp is, if it is infected, then further medication is required. But before that, this is avulsed twisted off gently and taken off. This after removal of the polyps, the sample is sent for the histopathology or biopsy tools. Biopsies also can be taken side by side if we feel that some malignant change may occur. They run then sent to be laboratory. They are then sent to the laboratory to make sure that. Now further we can see the part which we left, that is the histopathological examination. The surface epithelium is, now here one thing you should remember, the surface epithelium is high columnar epithelium. So high columnar type is similar to that of lined endocervical epithelium. Glands are lined by tall columnar epithelium with the stroma. Stroma is very much muscular, vascular, especially at the lower pole of the polyps. At the lower pole of the polyps, it's very much vascular. In the region of lower pole of surface epithelium, it shows a well-marked squamous epithelium. So squamous epithelium is seen in the lower pole. This is all about the histological examination. And hysteroscopic evidence of the removal of polyp is also important when there are recurrences of the mucus as well as fibroadenomatous polyp.